Your grandfather, Red, was a fine, upstanding rider.
Hi guys, this is Tabiasobi, and today, finally we've got some new information about Monster Hunter Stories 2. Oh man, I've been waiting for a long time. Yeah, so Capcom just released the second video trailer for Monster Hunter Stories 2, and there's definitely a lot of stuff to unpack from it. From the game's release date to a sampling of Monster Kinship Moves and a new key feature, the sequel is shaping up to be even bigger than the original. On that note, let's get started. Anyway, Monster Hunter Stories 2 now has an official release date, and the game is scheduled to be out on July 9, 2021. The sequel also continues a trend started by Monster Hunter World, where the Monster Hunter games now see a worldwide release. That's great news for Western or non-Japanese players for a couple of reasons. The obvious one is that we get to play the game at the same time as everyone else without having to wait. However, the second reason that it's also good news is that it's a sign that we won't be treated like second-class citizens anymore. For example, the original Monster Hunter Stories on the 3DS had extra content that was released in the Japanese market that never made it to overseas players. So basically we never got the update. That shouldn't be the case anymore for Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I actually personally confirmed with producer Ryozo Tsujimoto himself when I talked to him in October 2020. By the way, if you haven't seen that video yet, make sure to check it out. Now for folks who watched the entire trailer, one of the nice surprises from the second trailer happens in the end. Always pays to watch the whole thing. Yeah, so I was watching and I was like, hey wait, is that a Steam logo I see on the bottom of the screen? Yeah, so Monster Hunter Stories 2 is not a Switch exclusive anymore, but will also be coming to the PC. That's great news for gamers who don't have a Nintendo console or just want to play on their computer. On top of that, it also looks like the game will release on PC at the same time as the console version in July. That basically means that PC players will be treated like members of the master race this time around, as opposed to second-class citizens who get post-release crumbs via a later port. I mean, given all the bad news in the PC space lately, by that I mean higher prices for PC parts due to tariffs, as well as how hard it is to get a new GPU these days, it's nice to have some good news for a change. And yes, I'm still salty that I'm not able to build a new computer this year because I can't get anything. No GPU, no PS5, no Xbox Series X. I'm like batting zero right about now, which has never happened before. One of the other neat parts from the second trailer was the inclusion of co-op mode. Yeah, so we're talking actual multiplayer quests, where you can team up with another player to take on other monsters in the game. If you're like me and you love to play games with your friends or your family members, this is a great addition to Monster Hunter Stories 2. Now, one of the questions that I asked Tsujimoto-san last year was whether Navarro will be in Monster Hunter Stories 2. Yeah, so when I asked Tsujimoto-san, he replied, "Sore wa naisho desu," or "that's a secret." I actually took that as a good sign. I mean, I noticed in that interview that he would actually say no to certain questions, like if that was not the case. But here he said it's a secret, so I assumed he was going to be in. And so it looks like my hunch panned out as Navarro makes an appearance in the second trailer, complete with voice acting.
Off we go! Don't back down, buddy!
Now, English-speaking Navarro kind of sounds like a teen boy who plays with Beyblades and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Which might be a bit jarring for folks used to his cute, higher-pitched voice from the first game or the Japanese anime. I mean, I haven't felt like this since the first time I saw handsome Squidward. Fortunately, you can always change the text to Japanese if you want your Navarro to sound like his classic cat self instead of a Pokemon trainer. Gotta voice them all. The trailer also previewed the grandpa version of the famous hero Red, who looks pretty cool, I might say. It sounds like he was traveling with his monster partner to various areas in order to investigate the truth behind the strange phenomenon in the game before passing away. Press F to pay your respects. And then there's this guy.
Rathalos aren't monsters to worship, or to make bonds with. Don't you get it? They're nothing but dangerous pests. Dangerous pet. Dangerous pet.
Dangerous pests.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call him this guy. Or Orkin Man. Anyway, he's one of the characters who were briefly shown in the first trailer, and then gets some additional screen time this time around. The Mahana village rider Kena, who's partnered with a Velocitron monster named Avmar, the Wyverian rider Alwyn from Ruto Village, who's partnered with his Legiana Shulk, and then there's the Palico Tsukina, And yes, that's a downy crake on her head. Seriously, already getting flashbacks of trying to find those pesky downy crakes so I could get a platinum trophy in Monster Hunter World. And then naturally there's more footage of the protagonist and Razewing Ratha, that's the name of his Rathalos, including the Monstee's adorable baby version after hatching from his egg. And speaking of monsters, was that a Nergigante I just saw at the beginning? Yeah, that's right, Monster Hunter World's problem child is in the game and featured prominently, at least in the beginning. This brings up the question, do you actually just fight it, or can you actually recruit it? I mean, imagine just how much fun it would be to ride Nergigante around. Well, probably not as fun for your tush, but I'm sure they have a saddle for that. And then Capcom also provided a preview of some of the kinship attacks from certain monsters, not just in the video, but through new images that were released as well. Now, I've only seen the Japanese names for these kinship attacks, so pardon the rough translation. So some of the kinship moves that were shown include Mizutsune's Bubble Bath under the moonlight, Pukepuke's Gorilla Venom, Kulayaku's Explosion Attack. Yeah, the Capcom Monster Hunter localization team loves puns just as much as I do. Yeah, and then you got Palumu's Jet Bomb Wind Attack, Anjanat's Derailer Fire Breath, it's either that or Delayer, and then Legiana's Icicle Region Ice Attack, and then last but not least is Velocitron's Rush Attack. Now some of you are probably wondering, what do you get from pre-ordering Monster Hunter Stories 2 and its deluxe edition? Yeah, so pre-ordering Monster Hunter Stories 2 will get you in a special Kimura maiden outfit, or is it Kamura? Which is basically a nod to the Wyverian twins Hinoa and Minoto from Monster Hunter Rise. Speaking of Rise, players who have a save file in their system for that game will get a special layered armor known as the Kamura Garb in their version of Stories 2. This is basically based on the ninja-style starter armor set from Monster Hunter Rise and overlays on whatever armor that you are wearing. And then for folks who got the big bucks, getting the deluxe edition will get you the following items. Yeah, so you've got Inua's Kuon coat, the Razewing Armor Alpha and Beta for your male or female protagonist, the spiky Nergal hairstyle for your main character, for folks who want a little bit of Nergigante in their follicles. Did I just say follicle? And then the Puke and Nergigante costume set for Naviro, and then finally the Adventure Buddies 2 and 3 sticker set. By the way, the video also showed some locales, including fields and towns, and I must say, the game is looking really good. It's definitely shaping up to be a kicked-up follow-up to the original game. I mean, just look at that. You gotta hand it to Capcom, they always manage to find a way to squeeze the best performance out of the Switch. I mean, cell shading certainly helps, but man, this game looks really good for a Switch game. And it makes me wish that pretty much every developer actually puts in the requisite effort to make their games look this good, particularly on the Switch console. Anyway, there you go, another preview for Monster Hunter Stories 2. So what do you think of what's been shown so far? As always, please feel free to leave any thoughts or questions you may have in the comment section. Once again, this is Tabi Asobi, and thank you for watching.